Tim Hughes, that's Brutal Bob Evans, and you're listening to That Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome to That Wrestling Podcast. It's Money, it's Mike Britt, and we're going to talk a little wrestling, baby. You ready to do this, brother?
No, man, I'm ready to do it, baby.
Ready to do it? What do you say? Put in the skillet and cook it, baby.
Flip it up, rub it down, baby. Wait a minute, I don't know. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, something like that. Man, we got a lot to get into today, man. I know we're going to kind of have a short, abbreviated show, but before we get started, let's take a moment to thank Zane BTY Stevens for joining us on that recent interview, man. That was amazing.
It sure was, man. That was a great interview, man, and I really enjoyed it. I felt like he could have continued on, man, telling us much more stories, but I really enjoyed the interview and learned a lot about Zane.
What a career he's had, and really something I didn't say much on the interview, which I really should have touched on. Man, that man's athleticism is really off the charts.
Oh, absolutely, man. And you're talking about a hard hitter too, man. This ain't a finesse kind of guy, man. This dude, when you get in the ring with him, you know you've been in the ring with a man. So it was a great interview, and I really appreciate it. Zane, if you're listening, we appreciate you coming on, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. That was fun, and hopefully we can do it again in the future. If you guys haven't listened to that one, please check it out. I mean, he's got all kinds of cool insights to his life on the road, to matches with Jack Swagger, hanging out with Adam Rose, and just all kinds of cool stuff, man. This guy's been around the block a few times and really shared some cool insight with us.
And hopefully next time we talk to him, he'll be the Revolt Heavyweight Champion, because he's got that big match coming up this Sunday in Milton, Florida, Santa Rosa Auditorium. So anybody in the Gulf Coast area, Florida area, around this area, go check that out, man. That's going to be a really good card. Yeah,
huge match. And as much as I'd like to stay on the Gulf Coast all day, baby, we got a few topics to hop into. In segment number 1, we're going to talk about WWE's just stuck on repeat. What? Vince reportedly broke a handshake deal with Dolph Ziggler. AEW has some huge championship announcements. We're going to break that to you guys. In segment number 2, we're going to talk about the ups and downs of SummerSlam and Sasha Banks returning in a big way. You ready to do this today, brother?
Man, I'm ready to do it. Let's do it.
Well, man, I don't know if you noticed or not on Raw, but it just seems like WWE's stuck on repeat a little bit here, brother. We've seen the same Andrade and Rey Mysterio match again. And what do you think about seeing that match, I believe, for the 6th or 7th time now?
Man, I don't know. I'm just, quite frankly, I'm just getting bored with it. I think that both those guys, it's just a waste of a storyline. I could understand if they were really going somewhere with it. I could understand if they did something really special at SummerSlam, and it has no story to it. It's just nothing behind it, and quite frankly, it's just getting repetitive to me is what I think about it. I think Rey Mysterio could be used in such a better way, and I think you touched on it in the last video you put out. He's definitely being misused, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. And after the match, he looked emotional. It was kind of like, he was talking to him backstage, and he was like, I don't really know where my career is going from here, when he lost to Andrade this time. And I'm just thinking, you've just been feuding with Andrade for a few months. Yeah, you've dropped a couple to him, you've beat him a couple times, but really nothing of note has happened. And I just wish WWE, because both these guys are two of my favorites on the roster. Let me say that. I'm not knocking either one of these guys. I just wish they would have built, told a story for a while and built up for 1 or 2 big matches as opposed to just having them wrestle week after week after week. And I think it would have been more special is all I'm saying there, brother.
I agree with you. It seems like it's just becoming a time filler right now,
Yeah, I think kind of like Zane said on that interview, it's kind of like, watch this match so we can get you to these commercials.
Exactly. I think he nailed it on the head. Yeah.
He did there, brother. I got to talk about being in touch with what's going on, brother. Yeah, he definitely is. And
it's always good to get a perspective from a professional, because all them guys are fans too. That's why they got into business. So it's cool to get an insider perspective of things.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. And speaking of, having perspective, I don't know if Vince has lost his or not, but and this is a quote I want to read you about an ongoing situation between Dolph Ziggler and the WWE. According to a report from Cassidy Haynes of BodySlam.net, Vince McMahon, had agreed like with a handshake deal to let Dolph Ziggler out of his WWE contract following SummerSlam, but recently has had a change of heart. According to a source in WWE that I spoke with this past Monday, here's a quote from the article. According to a source in WWE that I spoke with this past Monday, was supposed to be Dolph's last day with the company. I was told there was a handshake deal in place between Vince McMahon and Dolph Ziggler, and that Vince McMahon would let Dolph out of the deal following SummerSlam so that Dolph could pursue other projects. On Monday, prior to Raw, Dolph approached Vince to thank him. However, it was then that Vince told Dolph he could not let him out of his deal and that he would rather just pay him to stay home as opposed to work for competition like AEW. And, wow, I mean, I can see where Vince is coming from if he has this guy under contract, but I just don't think it's the right thing to do if he had a gentleman's agreement with this man. I think it's just going to hurt his chances in the future of signing other free agents. And what's your thoughts on all this, Mike?
I agree with it too, man. I don't know if that's the truth, but if it is the truth, no, that's a handshake and a man's agreement, man. That's all you got, man. And I don't think that should be the case at all. I mean, Dolph did a job for Goldberg, and I think it was great. And I'm sure we're going to get in that a little bit more down the road. But he probably thought in his mind that after this, if he did a good job for Vince, this was it. And from what I hear, the man's got a heck of a comedy career too. So I don't even know necessarily that he was wanting to do anything wrestling. It could have been more of the acting and the comedy because I hear he's really good. So, but I tell you what, if he did go to AEW, he'd really open my eyes again to how talented and I know he's a great wrestler, but how entertaining he could be. And I think AEW would really use him to his full potential. And I think that Vince probably learned with John Moxley. So unfortunately, it's just a bad thing that he did to Dolph, man.
Yeah, I think Dolph would be hot in AEW. I totally agree there, brother. I really think, like you said, it would open our eyes again as to how talented Dolph is. And here's what I wonder, we often give, and it's in our recent video, if you guys check it out, it's in the playlist there, baby, a top 5 underutilized WWE superstars. We're always giving the company crap for underutilizing guys, but let me say this real quick. Here's another angle on it. Dolph, the last few years, has definitely seemed like he's had his eye on other prizes, per se. His acting, his comedy, like you said, Mike. And I almost wonder if the company kind of quit pushing him because for the last 3 or 4 years he's almost had one foot out the door at all times anyway, brother. You know what I mean? And it's hard to keep belts on a guy whose heart really isn't in it, per se. What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, I agree. You could look at people like Hogan, you can look at Rock, you can look at Stone Cold, and even John Cena. When they start working on different projects, they got things up on the horizon coming in the future, whether they leave WWE or not, they'll drop the belt. Sometimes they'll drop the belt to somebody you would never think they'd drop the belt to. See, I could definitely see that. I think Dolph may have hit his peak too early in the WWE because, he is a former world champion. He's been there and he's done that. And held probably every title in the WWE. So I could see him getting bored, wanting to do something else, but I can also see the concerns with the company. So
yeah, absolutely. Because, and you know how Vince is. He likes his superstars to reach for the brass ring, Mike. And if you're not putting in 32 hours a day for WWE, I just feel like they don't think you're giving enough, brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
And, here's another topic I want to touch on with you, Mike, and I know you haven't heard much about this or read up on it yet, and that's why I want to break the news to you, baby, but AEW made 2 huge blockbuster announcements this week regarding 3 of their television shows on TNT in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on October 16th. And here we go. The first announcement was that whoever wins the AEW World Championship, whether that be Chris Jericho or Hangman Page, they will have their first title defense on October 16th in Philadelphia. On the same night, it was announced that Thursday afternoon that not only will there be a first title defense for the AEW World Championship, there will also be a first title defense match for the AEW Women's Championship as well on week 3 of the television programming, brother. And AEW is going to crown their first AEW Women's Champion on October 2nd on their first TNT episode also. So lots of plans in the works for AEW, and was it title matches galore being announced, brother? What do you think about all this? You excited for October, baby?
Man, I am very, very excited. I tell you what, if you're a wrestling fan and you cannot get excited right now with everything that's going on, all the different promotions, especially AEW, there's something wrong with you. And what a way to jump into their first show, too. I mean, it just it invests you, and it's kind of, if it wasn't must-see, it's definitely must-see now. So, yeah, that's a good move by AEW.
Yeah, it's must-see TV, baby. Well said, brother. And I think that it's just gonna put more eyeballs on the product all around, baby. And really, I really think that who do you think needs to go over here, Chris Jericho or Hangman Page? What do you think would be better for the company as far as face of the first champion, baby?
I'm gonna say Chris Jericho. I think that he was the first undisputed champion at the time. He was the first man to mesh the World Championship from WCW and WWF together, and he was the first undisputed champion, and that's something that could never be taken away from him, especially his size. You look at that, all these big men that's been in the company, but yet he was the first. Why not be the first AEW champion? Hangman Page is still a young man. Let them continue to feud. Make it special when he finally beats him. Maybe a year later, maybe 6 months at a major pay-per-view. I think it'd be a little bit more special to have Hangman Page chase him a little while.
I'm going to agree 100%, Mike. I can't even, I don't even have any thoughts to add to that, baby. I just think it would be perfect. And having said that, audience, we got to step out, pay a few bills, but we will be right back after this.
She's in church, but she doesn't go. Still, she's on her knees, and Scotty doesn't know. Oh, Scotty doesn't know. So don't tell Scotty. Scotty doesn't know.
Hello, I'm Richard, but you can call me Dick. And I'm going to talk about something today that not a lot of men really like to talk about. But sometimes after a long day in the saddle, I get a little itching in my nether region. And that's why I got with my friend Peter here and created a wonderful product. You tell him about it, Peter.
Well, my name's Peter. I'll tell you, if you got an itch and you get it up, there ain't nothing better for that itch than Texas ball cream.
That's right, it's Texas Ball Cream. You can pick us up at all your local retailers. Just ask the pharmacist for Texas Ball Cream. Coming Tuesdays to That Wrestling Podcast Network, a family that will push you over the edge.
Damn it, Jezebel, where's my dinner?
The Good Times.
God bless you, Larry Flint.
The Madness.
Damn it, Jezebel, I said 2 cans of Grizzly Mint.
The Personal Moments.
Damn it, can I get some privacy?
Johnny Wildfire and Jezebel Wildfire are the Wildfires.
Somebody call the damn police.
Yeet! This is Ray Fury representing Revo Pro Wrestling, and you are listening to That Wrestling Podcast. Yeet!
Welcome back. Segment number 2. Man, what a show we're having today, folks. Thank you so much for listening. Now we're back to wrap this show up with Mike Britt and talk a little bit of SummerSlam, baby. You ready to do this?
I'm ready to do it, man. Hippity hop, hippity hop.
Hippity hop. Let's hop into this right away, baby. Ups and downs of SummerSlam. I got a few ups highlighted. I don't know if you have any downs, but if we don't have time for the downs, that's cool. I definitely want to touch on these few ups, though, and give some props to, props where props are due, I guess I should say. And right away, I want to hop into this match of the night, I think. Finn Balor versus The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. What did you think about that, brother?
I think it was excellent booking. I think it went the way it should have went. Finn didn't have a lot of offense. Fiend pretty much dominated the match, and the entrance was just incredible. It gave me that exciting feeling of being a wrestling fan again. And I'll compare it to this. It gave me that same excited / eerie feeling as when Undertaker first came out in late 80s. Just that creepy kind of, and it was all there, man. The music, the build up, and I loved it, man. If it would have went any other way, I don't think it would have worked as well. So hopefully this can be a long feud, and hopefully we'll see the Demon versus the Fiend. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Well said, Mike. I got a couple of quick things. Hopefully I don't forget all of my thoughts because I got a few points to touch on. I totally agree about the Undertaker feeling, like you said, man. It felt unique. It felt special. And it had a cool feel to it. And I really think as much crap as we give WWE, they're doing a great job with the Fiend here. That lantern, man, it was something eerie about that damn lantern the man was carrying. I don't know what it was. I actually read that they blurred that out on the replay of the show. I don't know why. They cut the scenes with the lantern out. I don't know if it was offensive to some people. It was just so damn eerie. Children couldn't sleep. Something was going on, brother. But I believe they cut the footage of that out of the replay also. And as far as you said with him and Finn in the match was laid out perfectly. That's what they needed to do. They needed the Fiend to debut strong, to come out and dominate a believable opponent, someone like Finn, and really started to put him over strong. And I think at some point down the road they could have that Demon versus Fiend match. But in the short term, I've been reading that Finn's actually taking a brief hiatus. I think he's going to step away for about 2 months just to kind of rest his body. So what better way to step out for a couple months than to put over this brand new character like that reminds people of the Undertaker, baby. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man, and that's good. That's good because maybe it's not a good thing if they could just go straight into a feud like that. Give it a couple months, and I know it's a hard job being a wrestler. It takes a toll on your body. So to give Finn Balor a little break and let Fiend do his thing for a little while, man, I'd be totally open for him to squashing a few opponents.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, man. Why not let the Fiend run wild on the roster for a while, and hopefully they don't botch this with this guy. They've got something new, they've got something fresh, and even before they repackage Bray, really. And I haven't really been much of a Bray Wyatt fan, but I can see what's going on. I can just report honestly what's going on. Bray is one of the most over wrestlers they've had on the roster for the better part of the last 5 years, and the crowd has really been clamoring to see this man as champion. And I really think they got something brewing here, and hopefully they just don't botch his booking. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I haven't seen anybody repackage yourself. I was skeptical when the whole Firefly segment first come out, and I was looking at it like, what is this? Pee Wee Herman's play. I mean, it was just, but the more I watched it, the more I got invested in it, and then I seen where they were going with it. And I tell you, he's a phenomenal speaker, man. He just reminds me of a Jake the Snake Roberts when he gets behind that mic, man. He is just something else. So I've been enjoying it, and I agree with you, man. I think it's one of the hottest things going on with professional wrestling right now, if not the hottest.
Great comparison. Way to name drop Jake, baby. I love it. Squeezing in our idols in there, baby. Yeah. And I know we've talked about this man a lot today already, but I cannot get away from this show without touching on this match. Dolph versus Goldberg. It's gotten mixed reviews. It's really the hottest match. People are on both sides of the spectrum here with this. And like we talked about last week, there was only one way to book this match to where it was going over good, and it was the way that they booked it, baby. I thought it was spectacular. I love the way it went down. Made both men was at their best, doing what they do best. Dolph Ziggler sold them spears like possibly like The Rock sold the Stunner. I mean, that might have been the best I've ever seen anybody take that spear. And what better way to keep the crowd involved by having Goldberg walk back and forth to the ring a few times to repeatedly deliver those spears, brother?
Absolutely. Well, David, I got a little icing to put on that cake real quick. If you can hold on just 1 second, sir.
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely, brother. Oh God. Is he here?
Yes, sir. It was awesome, baby. I loved it. Goldberg redeemed himself.
I thought Goldberg was marching out from the back of my house, dude. I was just bracing myself when I heard that. I was like, oh no, oh God.
Yeah, you better not say anything bad about Goldberg, baby. He'll come and get you.
Can I take a guess? Can I take a guess? WWE Mattel entrance greats Bill Goldberg.
You nailed it.
Oh yes, Mr. Producer Man.
You could tell by the tone, couldn't you?
Yes.
I loved it, man. I loved it. We knew it was going to be a squash match. We talked about it last week on one of the episodes. But one thing I'll tell you 2 things I really loved about it. Number one, I loved the super kick at the beginning. Because for a split second, you were actually believing, is Dolph going to get the quick pin? I mean, because I listened to a podcast today, actually, Booker T Hall of Fame, and he had Goldberg on the show. I was listening to the podcast, and Goldberg was talking about he likes realism. He loves to give realism. He likes to hit hard. He likes people to hit him hard. And he said Dolph like took his jaw off of that kick. And he wanted it. He liked it. And that's how realistic that kick was. And, man, when he smacked him in like that, you think, is he going to get the pin? Really? For just a second, you thought maybe that could happen. But another thing I really loved about the match, I loved the way he left the ring and come back 2 or 3 times because it actually added a little length and it was entertaining. If not, it would have been a squash match and that would have been it. So I thought that was pretty good booking. I don't know whose idea that was. Maybe that was a Heyman idea, but I think Heyman, he does a lot of good writing for Goldberg. He's the one that brought him back against Brock last year. So I enjoyed it, man. I'm a Goldberg fan, and he just reminds me of the Road Warriors and Nikita Koloff and that old school. And so I dug it, man. It was one of my favorite things about SummerSlam.
Yeah, I thought so too, brother. And like you said, I could see Heyman's fingerprints all over that one, baby. And what better way to book it? I thought it was genius booking. Let us know in the comments if you don't agree with us. That's fine. That's what wrestling's all about anyway. You pick and choose who you like and what you like, and you got your favorites and you got your guys you don't like, and that's the way it's supposed to be, baby. But I thought it was booked. I thought it was booked perfectly, man.
Yeah, me too.
Another match that I really was not excited about. I'm not gonna lie. Was not excited about this Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar match, but I ended up walking away pretty satisfied overall, brother. And between all of the suplexes and curb stomps, man, I walked away with my belly pretty full of wrestling after that one, brother.
Oh man, I've made it clear before too. I respect his in-ring work. I think he's a better heel, in my opinion. I'm just not a super big fan of Seth, but I tell you what, I'm like you. I walked away a little bit more of a fan and a little bit more respect for Seth Rollins. That was a really, really good match, and I was not expecting them to win. So anytime you can swerve me and throw me off your trail, man, I like it. I like
Absolutely.
it a lot. One of my favorite parts was Suplex City. When every time he'd go to Suplex City and he'd land on his feet, I just thought that was incredible, man. I've never seen that done before. You know, he'd flip him back and Seth would land on his feet and kick him.
It was incredible, man. It messed. I think it messed up my DraftKings over/under bet I had on number of suplexes that Seth Rollins took. Because every time it happened, I was like, "Does it count or not? Does it count or not? Is this messing up my bet? Was he suplexed or not?" I could not figure it out, dude. But I loved it. It added so much excitement to the match, man.
It really did. How could you be taking a Suplex City when you keep landing on your feet?
That's right, man. I ain't never seen no shit like that, brother.
Me either, man. Me either.
And speaking of something that we all didn't see coming, I guess, or you know, maybe you did. I know you're like the Oracle, Mike. We call you the guru of the Gulf Coast, but I didn't see this coming. Sasha Banks returned in a big way Monday night, brother, and I kind of enjoyed that segment, even though she was beating down one of my favorite female superstars. Man, I really enjoyed seeing this new side of Sasha. And did you have a chance to take that segment in?
I did, man, and it was so refreshing. I'm so glad to see her back. Yes, she is an incredible wrestler, and I've enjoyed her matches in the past with Bayley and her matches in the past with Charlotte. I thought her and Charlotte put on some incredible matches in the past. And, yeah, turning heel like that, and especially at such a sentimental moment when, you know, Natty is expressing a year since her father, Jim Anvil Neidhart, had passed away, and to come out like that and to pull that wig off and now your hair is blue, baby, watch out. Yeah, that was something else, man. I really enjoyed that. So I'm going to keep my eye on that.
I'll do this for Clyde. Lord have mercy, Sasha's got her blue hair on.
Yeah, that's for Clyde.
That's for Clyde, baby, yeah. And I agree, man. I thought it was really cool. And you know, just talking about the swerves a few minutes ago with you, that's what they need to do. More surprises, more swerves like that. Sasha had been gone for a while because all this reported heat and stuff backstage, man. But they brought her back in a big way. And hats off to WWE. I'm hoping to see more heel Sasha down the road, baby.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And Mike, I think that's going to about do it for today's show. Before we hop out, though, do you got any closing thoughts or anything that you like to plug, brother?
Well, there's one thing, and I know that we could have sat here for an hour and talked about SummerSlam, but I just want to throw out there that me personally, I really enjoyed SummerSlam. I thought WWE stepped it up. The night of, I gave it a 10 out of 10, but I would give it a high 8 out of a 10. And I do want to take my hat off to Trish Stratus. In my opinion, I think Trish Stratus and Charlotte Flair was probably the best match the whole night. It was an incredible match, and Trish Stratus did an outstanding job. So I just want to throw that out there. And once again, I want to thank everybody for listening. I want to thank you for listening to the podcast, and like it, subscribe, share it with people, and y'all stick around, man. We got some great things coming your way, some exciting interviews, and just all kind of stuff. Y'all stick around. We really appreciate y'all.
Yeah, well said on the Trish match, Mike. I totally agree. I think she stole the show, honestly, brother. I mean, you know, what better way, and like we talked about with, and I know we're trying to wrap this up, but like that's kind of like what we talked about with the Rey Mysterio and Andrade thing. It's like you've seen the same match 10 times, you know, leading up to this, and with the Trish Stratus and Charlotte thing, they hadn't even touched leading up to it, and I really think that it stole the show, made it the match of the night, and actually we probably should have spent a little more time on that one, looking back, brother.
Yeah, it's kind of like our friend Zane Stevens said. You know, he talked about Hogan and Sting back in the day for their big Starrcade match. You know, they promoted that thing for a year, and when you're that invested into a storyline, I mean, just one punch, the crowd's into it. A kick, the crowd's into it because it's so built up. And we've talked about it before, and I think that's something that they've got away from is good stories. So I think it was adding to your comment. I think it was genius that Trish did not get in the ring that night before because it just made it that more suspenseful because these two had never faced each other. So it's kind of a passing of the torch and a great match, man. A great SummerSlam, and I really enjoyed it.
Well said, Mike, and way to wrap the show up. It really was a passing of the torch, and like it or not, folks, Charlotte's going to be around for a while. And Yeah, if you like us out there, folks, put us over. If not, let us know in the comments. Leave us a thumbs down. Leave us a comment. Let us know what we need to improve on. Also, I'd like to give a quick shout out to Daniel Alexander. I know you listen to every single show. What's up, my man? Jerry Negron, I know you're out there somewhere. Nivel MAQ. Clyde, I love your guts. I know you're around somewhere. Folks, that's going to do it for today's show. If you like us, put us over. If not, let us know. We'll do a job for you on your show. It's the way we roll right here on That Wrestling Podcast. And having said that, we will catch you guys on the next one.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
You think that your man cave has it all. The memorabilia, the pool table, the bar, the bowling alley. But you're still running to the bathroom during the game's critical moments. Not anymore. Introducing the Poop Chute. Our patented carbon fiber technology is the same stuff used on the space shuttle to safely remove human waste. Simply attach the Poop Chute to the nearest couch or ottoman, run the 40-foot of free hose to the nearest toilet, and let it rip. These homemade inventions seem like good ideas until you get poop on your hands. Just try the Poop Chute. For only 9 easy payments of $49.99, you will never miss the game-winning touchdown again. Just call 1-800-635-POOP. Operators are standing by. The Poop Chute. It's a home run. Introducing the one and only Lock in a Sock. Don't be caught without Lock in a Sock when you need it. Lock in a Sock is fun for the whole family. Even Grandma loves Lock in a Sock. Don't be fooled by these cheap imitations. There is only one Lock in a Sock. For only 3 easy payments of $199.99, you can have your very own Lock in a Sock. But wait, there's more. Call in the next 10 minutes and receive free shipping. That's right, free shipping and processing. Just call 1-800-976-LOCK. Operators are standing by. Lock in a Sock.